I'm back in Sydney and just entered to the hostel and about to wait for a few hours before we can get the room. And when I say we, it's because I think I see somebody up there. In today's episode, I'm joined by my globe-trotting friend Cynthia from Florida. You might remember her from when we met in Florida. I did an episode about that. And also from our 10-day road trip around Saudi Arabia. When I was in Sydney, I asked her if she would be interested in joining me on this leg of my journey, and it didn't take much to persuade her. So after I checked into a hostel in downtown Sydney, she appeared in the door. Imagine finding you here.
Shocking, on the other side of the world.
Hey.
Happy to see you.
Happy to see you.
The main purpose of her coming is because we're about to embark on a cruise from Sydney to New Zealand. But first we decided to spend a few days away from the bustling heart of Sydney to the serene expanse of the Blue Mountains National Park. That's in the first half of this episode. In the second half, I'm doing the Sydney Harbour Bridge Climb.
Hi guys, I'm still in Sydney, but only for a few more hours actually, because tomorrow I'm leaving on that cruise ship over there, and over there on the other side is Sydney Opera House. I'm on the top of the Sydney Harbour Bridge, and this is the Radio Vagabond.
And then I jump off the bridge. It's not a lie. Stay tuned, and welcome back to Sydney.
This is the Radio Vagabond.
Cynthia, you had been to Sydney before. How come it was so easy to persuade you to come back?
That's a really good question. And my original trip was 2007 to both Australia and New Zealand. And truthfully, I'd been thinking about going back to both countries since the 2007 trip because that trip was great, but there was so much more that I wanted to see and do. So it did not take much twisting of my arm to get me to come back.
No. So percentage-wise, how much was the destination and how much was the company?
Oh, goodness. The lawyer in me says I have a constitutional right to remain silent since I'm down in the US.
We start our trip at Sydney's Central Station. Think of it as a big, busy place where lots of people catch trains to go all sorts of places. It's got old bits that look really cool and new parts that are super busy. Cynthia and I catch the 11:20 a.m. train to a place called Katoomba, right in the middle of the Blue Mountains. The ticket is cheap, only €7, $8, and we've heard that the ride should be really beautiful. And wow, it is. As soon as we leave Sydney, we start seeing lots of green trees and hills. It's like the window becomes a picture frame, and as the city disappears, all we can see is nature. Every now and then we see rocks sticking out among all the green, and far off, the mountains look a bit blue. The train itself is great, really clean, super comfy, and not too many people. We got first-class seats offered at coach prices, and most of the time we just looked out the window, watching all the cool nature stuff go by. And so did time. 2 hours flew by, and we can't wait to explore, take pictures, and make some great memories. What was it like being back there, in Sydney, I mean?
The highlights are still the same. You still get that amazing feeling when you stand in front of the Sydney Harbour Bridge, or you are looking at the Opera House. There's no way that those impressions are not still a wow factor when you stand in front of them, even if probably you'd just seen it a year before, and certainly when it had been a while. And I literally traveled halfway around the world and then halfway further south to get there to see it a second time.
Right.
And my recollection is you dragged me out the door practically after I got there.
Probably, yeah. Jet lagged and everything. I say, oh, come on, we gotta go.
Gotta keep moving.
Yeah. But the last time you were in Sydney and that whole area, you didn't go to the Blue Mountains.
I did not, and that's part of the reason I wanted to go to that part of the world, because I hadn't had that opportunity. And it's not very far. It's maybe 2 hours by train, as I recall.
Yeah, it was very close. Yeah, and a beautiful train ride.
I really enjoyed the train ride. I I was surprised how green it is.
Yeah.
And
Blue.
yes, and blue.
It's sort of in the name.
Yeah, but the drive on the train
Yeah.
was mostly through green areas with those few glimpses of rock outcroppings that we saw until we actually got up to Katoomba, and then we were more in the Blue Mountains, if that makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. So that was one of the things that I knew it was there, but I hadn't thought of it until we were talking about you joining me, and you said, but if I come, we gotta go to the Blue Mountains, and it was easy to persuade me as well.
And hopefully you found it stunning. I certainly did, like Grand Canyon stunning.
It was so beautiful. In Katoomba, we decided to stay somewhere with a bit of history, the Clarendon Guesthouse and Theatre. As the name indicates, this place is not just a hotel. It's a landmark that's been around for over 100 years. Imagine that, a century of stories within its walls. The cool part is that it's got this 200-seat theatre where just about every famous Australian musician you can think of has performed at some point. It's like sleeping in a piece of Australia's music history. The Clarendon has seen better days and wears its age like a badge of honor. It's got that vintage charm that you just can't fake. But don't worry about the age thing too much. The rooms are super clean and comfortable, and all this for just $50 a night. Pretty good deal if you ask me, especially when you're staying in a place that's a part of the local legend. Plus, who knows, maybe we slept in the same rooms as some of those famous musicians.
Mr. Bond.
Radio Vagabond.
Katoomba is like the heart of the Blue Mountains and has so much to offer. It's this cool little town with a population of just over 8,000 people. It feels like you've stepped into a mix of nature, history, and culture all at once. As we'll get to, Katoomba is surrounded by some breathtaking scenery. The town itself has a vibrant vibe. There are all these quirky cafes and restaurants where you can grab a bite to eat or just enjoy a coffee and soak up the atmosphere. And the shopping is a mix of vintage stores, art galleries, and boutiques, perfect for finding unique souvenirs and local art. And of course, there's the historic side of Katoomba, with its well-preserved buildings and the story of the town's evolution from a mining area to a tourist hotspot. Katoomba is more than just a gateway to the Blue Mountains. It's a place where you can connect with nature, dive into the local culture, and just relax in a beautiful setting. It is a small town, you know, the kind where everyone knows everything about anyone. And we meet a local that grew up here, but moved away as soon as he could.
Mane.
He's got a bit of an unusual name.
Mahne.
Mane.
Yeah.
Is that a normal Australian name?
No, that was just my mum being experimental. Have you been up to Byron Bay?
No.
Yeah, there's a lot of made up names up around there.
Okay.
Yeah. A beautiful beach. It was really famous in the 60s for surfing and hippies and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So,
right.
I mean, my name's probably a bit more experimental than a lot of the names are more like dolphin and rainbow and that kind of stuff. But yeah.
Moon rock.
Yeah. There's a bit of that up here, up in the Blue Mountains too, as well. But yeah.
Now, you grew up here, and now you're back. But what kind of place is it? Because it's not only for tourists. Is it a nice community to grow up in?
Yeah, it's interesting because it gets really cold up here. So sometimes I get jealous of my friends that live in coastal areas and stuff like that. It feels like there's almost a more daily community up here because there's a whole season where people just want to stay home.
Yeah.
So I got out of here pretty quick. As soon as I could get out of here, I got out of here. Once I turned 18, finished school, I got out of here. But I love coming back now for that space, for coming back in this like just fresh air and lack of community is kind of why I like coming up here in a way. But then, that's probably personal to me. There's lots of people that have lots of friends up here. Yeah. I've been away for quite a while, and so.
Yeah. But could you see yourself settling down, having a family, and staying for good?
Nah, not on purpose. Yeah.
Not on purpose.
Yeah, that's another reason why I don't want to make too many friends. I was just meeting I just met up with a family friend last night, and I asked if he'd ever move. He said I would like to move, but my friends and my community is like, we love it. Him and his wife love the community up there, up here, and so I was like, fuck, I've got to not make any friends.
Be careful,
because I don't want to end up.
No, and don't fall in love with a local.
Yeah. Well, no, I've got a wife, and she's from Japan, so there's no risk of that. Yeah.
So did you actually go and living in Japan?
Yeah. I've been there for the last 4 years, actually.
So you speak Japanese?
Not a little bit. If you don't speak Japanese, I could probably impress you, but I won't impress my wife.
No. But your family's still here.
Yeah, so that's I just got back to the country, and I'm staying with my family and working out the next move.
Cynthia and I were super excited to check out one of the most famous spots here, the Three Sisters. It's an incredible rock formation. There are 3 huge rocks standing next to each other. But there's a cool story behind them that makes it even more interesting. The legend goes that there were 3 sisters a long time ago who fell in love with 3 brothers from another tribe. But their tribal laws said that they couldn't marry. The brothers didn't want to accept this, so they decided to take the sisters by force, leading to a big battle. To protect the sisters during the fight, a witch doctor turned them into stone, planning to reverse the spell later. But things went sideways when the witch doctor got killed in a battle, and no one else could turn the sisters back. So they stayed as these giant rock formations, watching over the land. To see the 3 sisters for ourselves, we jump on bus 686 right outside our hotel and go to a place called Echo Point, not far away from Katoomba. It's from the Queen Elizabeth Lookout, where you can see the sisters up close and get some amazing views of the valley. Honestly, standing here, looking out at those giant rocks and the beautiful landscape all around, you can't help but feel a bit of the magic from that old legend. Echo Point is super easy to get to and definitely a must-see if you're visiting Blue Mountains. It's a spot where you can take some amazing photos and just soak in the beauty of the place. Plus, hearing the story of the 3 sisters makes it all feel a bit more special, like you're part of the legend too. The lookout is named after Queen Elizabeth II, after her visit here in 1954. The Majesty went to see some majestic scenery, and it was a big deal for Katoomba and the community. The town prepared for a month to honor the first reigning monarch's visit to the area. It was so memorable that they named the lookout point after her, making it a historic moment for the town. Being at the Blue Mountains, Cynthia, what made the biggest impression for you?
I think the vastness of the valley there. When you stand on Echo Point and you look out at the Jamison Valley, it's filled with the dense green forests, and back by the Blue Mountains, it's just stunning.
Yeah, and we were there for maybe around an hour, and I have the feeling that it's one of those places that you can, if you're staying there the whole day, it's going to change throughout the day because of the lights and the shadows, and the colors are going to change, and it's amazing.
Logically, yes. The photographer in me would think it definitely would, but I felt like we had a good amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
Took a lot of photos, walked around a bit, enjoyed looking at the massive 3 sisters that are off to the left of the main viewpoint.
Mm-hmm. I think it's the first time I've fallen in love with 3 sisters at the same time.
We went out and saw the view of the great sister, the 3 sisters. Is that something you ever get tired of?
Oh, of course, yeah. I took a 4-year break, so now I like it. And I also like taking people there, and then when I take someone, I see it through their eyes.
Yeah.
But for me, I look at it and it's like I don't really see much, I guess, because I grew up with that. Like it's like, I don't know, your family house or something like that.
Yeah. And I bet going around the world, it takes quite something impressive to impress you.
Like I wouldn't go up there by myself, I don't think. I wouldn't be that inspired to go up there by myself, unless there was some really big critical decision I had to make and I just had to sit and think or something like that. But like for fun, I probably wouldn't go up to the 3 sisters. But I love taking people in. Yeah. I'm proud of being from here.
Yeah.
I'm proud of being from somewhere that's so beautiful. You know, I love, like, being in Japan, I love to pull up my phone and be like, hey, this is where I'm from. Yeah.
After soaking in the views from the Queen Elizabeth Lookout, we jumped back on bus 686 to Katoomba Falls.
Yeah, so there's this local bus. We kept taking the 686 bus, and it would drop us off at Echo Point. It dropped us off at Katoomba Falls, dropped us at different parts.
And it started right outside our door at the hotel.
Exactly, and I don't remember what it cost. I feel like it was $2. It was very reasonable and super convenient.
It's a stunning waterfall that cascades into the Jameson Valley. The falls are easy to get to and offer stunning views, especially from the scenic viewpoints along the walking trails. And speaking of that, the Blue Mountains National Park offers a wide range of walking trails and nature walks, catering to all levels of fitness and interest. These trails provide opportunities to explore the park's stunning natural beauty, including lush rainforest, dramatic cliffs, deep canyons, and cascading waterfalls. Some popular walks include the scenic clifftop walking track between Govet's Leap and Evans Lookout, the challenging 6-foot track, and the family-friendly Three Sisters Walk. Whether you're looking for a short, relaxed stroll or a multi-day hiking adventure, the Blue Mountains have something to offer every visitor. Wrapping up our journey through the Blue Mountains, it's clear that stepping out of the city's hustle and bustle into the stunning nature offers a unique experience. The Blue Mountains serve as not just a retreat, but as a reminder of the world's natural beauty, with its amazing views, historic trails, and the peacefulness that can be found in the heart of nature. Yeah, overall, a couple of wonderful days at Blue Mountains, and thank you so much for persuading me.
It was easy on my part, too, to agree to go.
Yeah, so if you're in Sydney, remember also to explore beyond the city limits. Jump on the train to the Blue Mountains and collect memories that will last a lifetime.
The ultimate destination for armchair travelers who are looking for inspiration to get out into the real world and let loose their wanderlust. This is the Radio Vagabond. Gotta keep moving.
The second part of this episode is all about the Sydney Harbour Bridge Climb, something I did the next day. Before we get to that, I'd like to mention that I have another Vagabond Shorts episode on Saturday, all about the top 7 must-see things here in Sydney. That comes out as a podcast, but also as a YouTube video. I've already done a few of these shorts as videos from Bali, New York, Buenos Aires, Paris, Singapore, and a few more. And when I say I've done them, well, I had help. I create the content and the sound, and then I have a company called VidPros do the videos. They add the video clips and do some cool graphics and transitions. It's been a total game changer for me to work with them, and the results are pretty cool. If you also need a video editor, try them out, and if you use the promo code VAGABOND, you can get 10% off your first month. Head over to vidpros.com and check out their work. And remember to find my YouTube channel and hit subscribe so you don't miss my videos. Like I said, it's about Sydney this coming Saturday, and next week we'll take a look at some tourist scams and how to avoid them. Just search for the Radio Vagabond on YouTube. And now, back to the show.
You're listening to the Radio Vagabond podcast. If you're curious about his looks, check out the Radio Vagabond on TikTok or Instagram. Just remember what curiosity did to the cat.
You heard the clip in the beginning from the top of Sydney Harbour Bridge. And a few hours before that was recorded, on a beautiful Friday afternoon, I get on the tram in Sydney, heading towards the coat hanger, as the locals call it, the Sydney Harbour Bridge.
I caught you. Thank you. I'm very happy here. I'm happy here.
Next stop is Bridge Street, followed by Circular Quay.
I have butterflies flying around in my stomach because climbing the bridge is something I've been looking forward to for a long time. I've heard that this is a thrilling adventure and also that it's designed with the highest safety standards in mind. This is why no personal items were allowed to prevent anything accidentally falling onto the traffic below. I knew that already, so days ahead I did my best to persuade them to let me bring a microphone so I could capture the climb for you guys. I said that I could just take my smallest one and that it could be in a zip pocket like I did when I did hang gliding over Rio. But no chance. Well, they said that I could try to speak to the government office that are the ones deciding this. But that would just be too much, and I'd probably get a no anyway. Also, I couldn't try to bend the rules and smuggle it in, as if I was the kind of person that would ever do something like that. We had to go through a metal detector to get onto the bridge. So now you might be wondering how I could record the clip from the top that you heard in the beginning of this episode. I'll get to that.
Alright, hey guys, welcome to Bridge Climb. My name is Julian, and today I'm going to be helping you guys get ready for your climb. So before you climb, there's a few videos that you guys need to watch. So please listen carefully.
Hi, I'm Jack.
And I'm Melody.
And it won't be long until you stand right where we are.
But first, let's run through a few important safety requirements for you back in the building downstairs.
You ready?
But of course, safety first, and overall the climb is very safe, with all of us wearing special suits and secure harness that is clipped on to the bridge at all times. Before I get to the metal detector, I'm in the lobby of their office at the foot of the bridge. Here I see a lot of autographed photos from famous former bridge climbers. And there's been a few. Hugh Jackman, Jamie Oliver, Ryan Reynolds, Hilary Duff, Ben Stiller, and I could go on. So I will. Oprah Winfrey, Matt Damon, Katy Perry, Robert De Niro, and Will Smith. Twice. I'm thinking, well, soon they'll be able to add another superstar to the list. The Radio Vagabond Travel Podcaster of the Year 2024. Well, come to think of it, they didn't ask for my autograph. They must have forgotten. I'm sure that's an honest mistake. Or maybe I'm not that special.
We hope you have a fantastic climb and we'll see you soon.
While I'm getting this ready, just so we're not standing in awful silence, we'd like to let you guys take this opportunity to introduce yourselves to each other and get to know your group.
Inside, as they're getting the suits and the safety gear ready for us, I meet the group that I'm going to be climbing with.
Hello guys, I'm Crystal. I'm from Hong Kong. Nice to meet you.
Hello everyone, my name is Michael from Hong Kong as well. This is my wife.
We're 14 people from all over the world.
Hi, my name is Palabo. I come from Denmark, but I travel full-time. I don't have a home base.
Again, here I thought I was special. A full-time traveler from Denmark. I mean, that is kind of special, right? But actually, in this little group, there's another full-time traveler.
I'm Lisa, I'm from the US, and I also travel full-time, no home base.
And if that wasn't enough, 2 more people from the tiny country of Denmark.
Hello, my name is Christian, and I'm also from Denmark.
My friend.
No, I am not special.
Our changing room is just out this door here to our left, and we've got bathrooms down the corridor to the right.
Then we change into the specially provided suits and literally climb into the harness before clipping on a special railing and start the climb.
The Radio Vagabond. Gotta keep moving.
Cynthia, you didn't join me on the bridge climb. What did you do instead?
Yeah, so it's really hard to get reservations for the arch climb. And yet I wanted to be out on the bridge. And so I walked the entire length of the Sydney Harbour Bridge. I actually took a bus across the water, and then I walked all the way back and had amazing views of one of the globe's finest natural harbors in the world. And I got to the end about when you finished your bridge climb, oddly.
So I might have been right on top of you. So that's why I couldn't bring my microphone, because if I dropped it, you would be the one being hit on the head.
That would be bad from the massive bridge. What is it they call it? The coat hanger, I think they call the bridge.
The coat hanger, yeah, the coat hanger, yeah.
Yeah, because you can walk on it, you can climb it, you can cycle it, you can drive across it, you can take a bus across it. There are many ways to go across the Sydney Harbour Bridge.
The Sydney Harbour Bridge Climb is an experience that takes around 3.5 hours. It's designed to be accessible for all, and it doesn't require an extreme fitness level, but just a moderate level of physical activity. There are age restrictions, but they're pretty broad. Participants need to be between 8 years old and 100. I'm not kidding. Once we get to the top, it's easy to see why this is the most climbed bridge in the world. Here, the panoramic views of Sydney and its surrounding is simply breathtaking, offering a unique perspective. And as we're here on the top, they take photos of us and offer to record a little 15-second video. And that's where I got the sound from.
Hi guys, I'm still in Sydney, but only for a few more hours, actually, because tomorrow I'm leaving on that cruise ship over there, and over there on the other side is Sydney Opera House. I'm on the top of the Sydney Harbour Bridge, and this is the Radio Vagabond.
Yes, that is all the audio I have from the top of the bridge, so you got it twice. Then we walked down, and just when we got to the last bit of the bridge, our guide pointed out where the bridge ended and the concrete started, and said that instead of just taking a normal step, put your feet together and do a little jump. Then you'll be able to pass a lie detector test saying, "I jumped off the Sydney Harbour Bridge." So I did. Did you see me jump off the bridge?
I saw you jump between two pieces of concrete.
Oh, come on, don't be a spoiler. I jumped off the bridge. Put me in a lie detector test. That'll hold up in court. This episode is brought to you in part by Hotels25.com. It's a website that helps you find the best prices on hotels and guest houses and hostels around the world in one simple search. Hotels25.com.
This is the Radio Vagabond Podcast.
In the video, I'm pointing at the Sydney Opera House and at a big cruise ship in the harbour. And as I mentioned, I'm boarding that cruise ship, the Norwegian Spirit, the next morning with my friend Cynthia.
Yeah, I think when we were conceptualizing about doing this journey, there were two big focuses for me. Like, I wanted Sydney and the Blue Mountains, but those weren't really the big focuses for me. There would have been two key focuses, or really important things to me. So the 12-day cruise on Norwegian Cruise Lines from Australia all the way to New Zealand was a big highlight for me to get to do that. I have done a similar cruise in 2007, and I really wanted to do that again. And then the second part, or really maybe for me the more important part, was spending time on New Zealand's South Island for the epic road trip of 2 weeks that we took, because neither you nor I had been to the South Island.
Yeah, because that was another key point when I asked if you wanted to join me. You said, yeah, but we're ending up on the North Island, and if we're doing this, I want to go to the South Island and do a road trip. And I just said, I'm in. Yes. So that's also something that's coming up in the podcast, is a 2-week epic road trip around the South Island of New Zealand. That's something to look forward to there.
I will look forward to that show myself. And I would tell anyone listening to this or that one that it's got to be one of the best road trips in the world, is to do a couple of weeks in the South Island.
Yeah, we're about to go on an epic cruise to New Zealand with 3 stops in Australia, Eden, Tasmania and Melbourne, and a handful of cool stops in New Zealand. You want to join us? Well, you can, because here I was able to bring as many microphones as I wanted. I'll take you to some of the stops, and then I get invited to the bridge where I have a conversation with the captain of the ship. We're starting that journey next Tuesday here on the Radio Vagabond. If you like what you hear, please tell a friend, and don't forget the top 7 must-see things in Sydney on Saturday in our Vagabond Shorts. Did you find the YouTube channel? Go do it now. My name's Palabo, and I gotta keep moving. See ya.
Radio Vagabond.
Produced by RadioGuru.co.uk.